Whispers of the Ridge, Paintsville's Pioneers, Middle Creek's Battle, and the stones of Old Town Cemetery.
The pioneer beginning. Long before Paintsville was a town, before streets, stores, or churches, this was wilderness. Steep ridges, tangled laurel, and the slow, steady breath of the Big Sandy River shaped everything. Into this land came the pioneers. By the late 1700s, longhunters and families pushed into the valley, building cabins along the forks of Paint Creek and Middle Creek. They carved out farms from the dense forest, raised corn on the river bottoms, and lived by the rhythm and seasons and survival. Life here was rugged and raw. Every house was a fort, every trip to the creek a risk, every neighbor a lifeline. These early settlers forged a town that would one day become Paintsville. People who fought the land, the elements, and sometimes one another, but who left behind names that will echo here. The Daniels, the Wheelers, the Prestons, the Wittens, the Frisbees, and so many more. By the winter of 1861 and 1862, another battlefront emerged. Not between man and mountain, but between brother and brother. Kentucky was divided. So was Paintsville. Here, Union loyalty ran strong. So did Southern sympathy. Homes were split. Families took opposite flags, and the quiet valleys of Middle Creek and Paintsville became strategic ground. Union Colonel James Garfield, yes, the future U.S. President, marched his men through Paintsville in January 1862. The Confederates under General Humphrey Marshall were entrenched in the hills near Middle Creek. What followed became known as the Battle of Middle Creek, the fight that secured the Big Sandy Valley for the Union and launched Garfield's political rise. Gunfire rattled across frozen slopes. Smoke rolled over the ridges, and neighbors who once hunted side by side now exchanged fire across the hollers. It was not the largest battle of the war, but for the families here, it was everything. The war didn't just pass through, it scarred the land, reshaped the community, and sent young men to graves far from home.
Today, this morning, we're at the battleground of Middle Creek. And why this is important is Kentucky wanted to remain neutral during the Civil War. And so a lot of Kentucky natives tried to hold this and stay neutral and try to fight off both sides. But the Confederate soldiers that were abandoning and the war were hiding out here in the mountains. So our future president, James Garfield, then, he was a colonel. The only battle he ever led, he led here at Middle Creek. And he led it from the Union side, and he was the colonel that led the battle that secured Middle Creek and Eastern Kentucky for the Union Army. Then they lost it again that following spring and summer to the Confederacy. But this is the only battle James Garfield ever led, and it was at the Battle of Middle Creek. And the Union won and secured Eastern Kentucky right here thanks to him. So we're going to look at the battlefield.
All right, and down here, I guess, is the primary skirmish area. And then off to our right and left, there's trails where the Union Army came in and trails where the Confederate Army came in.
So let's walk down by the creek. Let's walk down through there.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, I prefer to go down on the Confederate side myself.
Well, let's stay neutral like the Kentucky did, and then just go down through here.
All right, we'll go in the middle.
and we'll just be neutral like the Kentucky people were. How about that?
All right, well, Francis.
That is the Confederate Trail, and that's the Union Trail. We're going to stay in the center. Non-violent. Try to do it like the Kentucky natives did. But we're going to follow this trail down near the creek. And you can see this is not a large area for a battle. Can you imagine how close quarters you would be between guns, much less knives?
Wow, this is simply pretty and amazing.
It's beautiful down here. There's a post down there marking something. I thought we would walk down here first and see what this is. We can get down by the creek closer. This isn't a large area at all to have a battle like that in.
No, but there's so many little battles in this area, and all of them were important.
And see, Kentucky really, the people here in the Appalachians didn't want any part to do with the war. They could see both sides of the conflict. They could see how the South felt about political issues, and they could see how the North felt about the same thing. And I'm not going to talk about the main issue. But when the Confederate soldiers were hiding out here, it became the Union's problem. So they sent James Garfield, and he was just a colonel then. And he was up against a brigadier general from the South. And he beat him. And so that was probably one of the best, because he secured Eastern Kentucky for the Union, that probably helped him a lot when he ran for office.
Well, you know, I never knew that Garfield even led any campaign, so that was pretty interesting.
It's the only one he ever led in his whole career. And right here,
See, the artillery that failed.
they had, okay, the Confederate Army had 4 huge artillery pieces like this, like the cannons.
Yeah.
But what they didn't count on coming down through here is what it says, is that the roads coupled with the heavy rainfall of January of 1862 made moving cannons a very difficult proposition. 2 whole days were spent moving this up from Hager's Hill to Middle Creek. And the guy that writes for the Confederacy Army said, "I found the roads nearly impassable. With great labor, my battery was moved 6 miles, but some of my wagons could not move 4. It was the second day before I passed from the state road leading from Slaughtersville to Prestonburg."
So I guess superior weaponry is not good if you can't move it.
Right, over these mountains and hollers and roads. I could see that. So we will walk down here to the creek.
Looks like we came at the right time. They just cut the grass.
Yeah. They do have reenactments here when they do reenactments in Middle Creek. I guess it would be an important place because it secured Eastern Kentucky. And this is a huge place with these hollows and mountains. So to secure something like this would be a great advantage. And you could put your soldiers up in these hills and trees and stuff. There's the creek. I don't know how we're going to get down there to it.
I don't either.
Let's walk back that way. I don't feel like going through it. Most of this, it's too early in the morning. much area.
No.
Let me take a picture down to there. So the Confederates, they didn't even think about moving that artillery over the mountain. How nearly impossible that would be. You know?
I know, that would just be...
Can you imagine how much do those cannons weigh?
Oh, tons. You can't have to weigh at least 2,500 pounds or more.
There's a marker, there's a little group of trees down here.
Alright.
And a marker that might be where they signed the surrender. So we're gonna go down there and see. But no longer than it's taking us to walk this, I can imagine looking at another army that wants to kill you. Being in that close quarters. Kentucky mornings, it's beautiful out here. I think it'd be better for us walking across this.
Alright.
It might be a lot. That was wet.
All looks mushy.
Huh?
All looks kind of mushy, but...
So it was nasty like this in January because it's wet and cold out here. So it would be nasty down here, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. There's always precipitation in the mountains here.
This is a beautiful little grove of trees. Okay. Compared to the other battles, there's 3,000 people fighting in this one, but only 15 people were killed here.
Wow.
Yeah. Union losses at Middle Creek were 3 and 18 wounded. And then the rest of them were the Confederacy.
Ooh.
Wow. So I'm guessing a lot of it was fought over here in these group of trees. Only 15 people killed for 3,000 people being here, that's insane.
Yeah, that is. This would be intense. This is flat, you're looking everybody eye to eye.
When the guns fell silent, Paintsville began to rise again. The railroad came, coal came, commerce came, but beneath all that growth lived the memory of the pioneers and the shadow of the Civil War.
Alright, we're here today at Paintsville Lake in Kentucky. This is Jay, I'm here with Jen.
Hey.
Now we're just going to go for a little walk down the Kiwanis Trail.
We're going to be crossing over the dam first. Can you see it going across right there? This is the Kiwanis walking trail, but that's the Paintsville Dam. We're here first thing in the morning, so we're hoping to catch some animals and some pretty views walking down through here. You'll be able to see the dam better once you go across it. chilly out here this
Yeah,
morning.
it is.
See, we're on top of the dam now. Walking across. What the difference is, we don't have these kind of walk and trails over our dams in Alabama, which I think would be a great thing, a great asset. It's beautiful out here. You can't see the water a lot through the fog. Can you see down through the fog?
Oh, barely. You can hardly see the truck from here.
This is beautiful.
Oh, it is. It's nice out here.
It's surreal when you think you're walking over a dam. I like how quiet it is.
I do too. Wow.
It's quite chilly out here. It's probably in the 60s.
Feels great. We'd be sweating and dying at the house.
Yes. You can see the bridge through the mist. Let me see if I can get that picture. That's a good picture.
See, this is that time of morning we're gonna catch that Bigfoot.
Right. Exactly.
And nowhere are those memories held more tightly than in the oldest resting ground in Paintsville. Walk up the hill where the town gives way to the quiet stone and weathered grass, and you enter Paintsville's oldest witness, Old Town Cemetery. Here lie the people who built this place from nothing, pioneers who laid the first logs, soldiers who fought in blue and gray, mothers who buried children, and children who never saw adulthood. The markers are simple. Some names are worn to dust, others stand proudly, chipped but unbroken. This cemetery is not just a place of the dead, it is the final chapter of the frontier, the echo of the Civil War, and the silent storyteller of Paintsville's earliest generations. Stand among the stones, and you can feel them, The longhunters, the settlers, the fighters, the forgotten. Their blood shaped this valley. Their footsteps built this town. And their stories still rise with the morning fog. I hope you enjoyed this video, a look into Middle Creek in Paintsville. God bless you. Have a good day.
The pioneers and veterans from Northeast Kentucky. Welcome to Old Town Cemetery, Kentucky.